for a hearing test. If this sounds familiar, it's time to call Beltone in Mooresville and Cornelius. Call 877-HEAR-123 today. That's 877-HEAR-123. Turn down the TV and turn up the conversation. Call 877-HEAR-123 now.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Well, good afternoon, Lake Norman, and welcome to Town Talk. We're coming to you live from WSIC, the Real Talk Studio, nestled on the banks of beautiful Lake Norman, streaming worldwide from Tehran, Iran, to the Woodlawn School in Mooresville. I'm your host, Bill Russell, President of Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce, the largest chamber of commerce in the greater Charlotte region. My guest today is Erin Blackburn. She's the marketing director for Dry Otter Waterproofing. Lee Blakely, who is the chair of the Woodlawn School Board of Trustees and the STEAMfest founder. And Lucia Reynal, she is a senior with the Woodlawn Class 2026 and president of the Woodlawn Activities Committee. And Lee, I just said we're streaming worldwide to Tehran. That's actually not true because they're not allowing any internet into Iran. But, we have a ceasefire right now, and we were talking about it earlier. I hope the two sides can come together and bring peace to that section of the world. And we can see the Strait back opened up. We can see the oil start flowing again and gas prices dropping a little bit and the economy humming along. I'd like to see that. So when you go into the summer, it is going to be a much more affordable summer for you. But anyway, today is April 8th, and two very notable events occurred on this date. First one happened in 1974 with Hank Aaron. You know what that was?
I do not.
Oh, you know what Hank Aaron did?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what did he do?
Oh, baseball.
He broke Babe Ruth's home run at 715. Okay, and the other, that wasn't just really a milestone in sports. It was a cultural movement as Aaron overcame intense racism and the pressure to really overcome that particular record. So anyway, he persevered and knocked it out of the park. But also in that day, in 1864, the U.S. Senate passed the 13th Amendment. Okay, I know you're a science person and not really a history, but you know what the 13th Amendment did?
No, I don't remember.
Former school teacher, you know what the 13th Amendment did?
History's not my subject either.
All right. The 13th Amendment would later abolish slavery in the United States, and it was needed House approval, but it was a critical step in this in the Civil War. But it reminds us from the 13th Amendment to Hank Aaron that progress happens when opportunity meets determination. And that's exactly what we'll be talking about today, because Woodlawn STEAMfest is all about preparing the next generation to do something spectacular. Erin, you're a marketing director for a waterproofing company, but you're also a high school science teacher, or were a science teacher with Tri-City Christian School. Mm-hmm. But I was reading your resume, and it said you were also with the Catawba Science Center. Mm-hmm. What was that? What is that?
Catawba Science Center is in Hickory, and it's a really great, it's not really a museum, because a museum you go and you look and you don't touch. But at the Catawba Science Center, you go and you can interact with science, and it really inspires children and adults to just take more note of what's going on in the world around them that has to do with science. And
did you know when you were Lucia's age that you were actually going to be a science teacher?
Oh, I thought I was going to be the Secretary of Interior.
Well, that may still be in your future path.
You never know.
How did you get to being a science teacher to doing what you're doing with waterproofing?
Well, it's definitely a God thing, because I love that career very much, and I still do, but something came up that I had to make a decision, and I stuck with what I felt God led me to do. And with 5 days, I had a new job, and within the next year, I had another full career in marketing and a CRM administrator, and get to do science and technology and math in a completely different way that's more application-based and not inspiring anybody else to do it, but I still get the opportunity to do that at my church, so I'm still very blessed.
There you go. Well, all right, well, let's switch gears to Woodlawn School. And for people who don't know Woodlawn School, how does it compare to the other schools in our region, Lee?
So Woodlawn School is a private, independent, nonprofit school. It's K through 12th grade. It focuses on a collaborative style of project-based learning with an emphasis on building the the ability of students to really investigate, question, collaborate, work together to solve problems, and learn the real world skills that they'll need in the future.
Lucia, what's something you experienced as a student there that you think people outside of the school may not expect?
Well, I think when you think Woodlawn, like Woodlawn is very small. So my grade, there's 13 kids in my grade. So it's a very small school, but what's been great for me, at least, especially going into college, is like they're really close teacher relationships. So you get to know all of your teachers really well, which is something really unique because bigger schools, like that's not really something you have. And so Woodlawn teachers are great in like supporting you in new things that you want to explore. So like starting clubs or adding new classes, things like that. So Woodlawn is great with the teacher connections.
And Woodlawn is K to 12?
It is.
Okay. Woodlawn emphasizes experimental learning programs like STEAMfest. How does that approach really prepare students for the real world?
That's a good question. I think if we look out at the way the workplace is for a lot of people today, you're not just working by yourself. You're working in a team of people from different skills, different disciplines, and you're putting those together to produce a product, service a customer's needs, manufacture. Those skills of working in teams in that collaborative environment, that's really central to our modern workspace.
How intentional is that design from a board of trustees perspective and a leadership perspective?
So I think it's intentional from the beginning. Our founder, Dwayne Bowman, who started the school in 2020, was a former executive from Amazon. He moved into the area, realized that he didn't see a school that satisfied what he thought a school should do. So he started one, and he brought the culture and the work ethic and model that he had learned in that Amazon environment to Woodlawn as a starting point.
Erin, have you been to the campus?
I have not, but I saw on the website. It looks beautiful.
Come by and visit,
Okay.
especially
I'd love that.
Sunday, April 12th.
Right.
And talk about that, because there's an old home on that structure that I think goes back to like 1830 or so.
Woodlawn is located on 61 acres of property. It's formerly a plantation, farmland that was converted for the school. The main house, Stinson Hall, it's now called, was the home of the Stinson family about 150 years ago, who were one of the founding families for Davidson College.
Lucia, we're going to go break it in just a minute, but outside of STEAMfest, can you share a project or experience that has really stuck with you over your tenure there?
I think I joined in 7th grade. So 7th grade, 8th grade, and 10th grade, we do a thing called National History Day. And so I'm obviously not a history person, but it was a really cool project because it's like, it's kind of, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's you get a topic for the year and then everybody chooses a history topic to like present about. So you can do like different types of projects. And so it's a way, like, even though I don't like history, it was my first like, wow, like this is very interesting. And so I think it's a great way for you to like explore new things.
That's really cool. Well, we're going to go to our break and hear from our sponsors, and we'll be right back on Town Talk, and we're going to talk about STEAMfest. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Connecting businesses, nonprofits, and the community. Stay tuned for more Town Talk with Bill Russell on WSIC. Local starts here.
Okay, Lucia, I'm gonna pick on you. Do you know what a Chamber of Commerce is or what we do?
No, not really.
Tell us, Bill.
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I was in junior high and high school, I had no idea what a Chamber of Commerce was. I probably didn't even know what a Chamber of Commerce was in college. And I certainly in school would have never thought one day I'd be leading a Chamber of Commerce. Basically, a chamber, we have 850 members, businesses, that are members of the Chamber of Commerce. And we're a regional chamber. So we have members all the way from Statesville down to Charlotte, and predominantly in the Cornelius, Davidson, Huntersville, Mooresville, Denver area. and we put on programs, and we essentially do three things. First off, we promote our members. So if somebody calls me and says, hey, my basement is flooding, I got humidity, things are a mess down there, do you know who to call? I'm going to say, yes, I know who to call. And so we can call Erin over here with her team, and they can come out and waterproof the basement. If they're talking about what kind of great schools do you have that might be private schools or charter schools, we can refer them to Woodlawn. So we promote our business members. The other thing is we put on programs for our businesses. So just today, we had a fantastic program. John Buckner did a sales training program over at the Chamber of Commerce, and it was simply outstanding. And again, what we try to do is make sure that our business owners and managers, employees have the tools in their toolbox to be successful, not only to survive, but to compete and be a thriving business. And something that many people may not actually join the Chamber of Commerce for, that's the advocacy. So us being able to represent our businesses. So let's just say you graduate from college and you decide, I'm going to open up my business, and you locate it in downtown Cornelius that doesn't support that type of application. Well, then you call up the Chamber of Commerce and we'll go to bat for you. So we'll try to get that thing pushed on through. So going out and lobbying for more schools and more classroom space, and to have the health care that we have, all the amenities to support our business community, that's really what a Chamber of Commerce
Can
does.
any business join?
Any business can join the Chamber of Commerce. And so, again, a number of them from 850 from anywhere around the lake. So, all right, we're going to go back live in just a second. I had some other things I was going to talk about. Well, we'll catch them next time. So stay with us here on Town Talk.
Visit merlefest.org.
For even more local events and everything happening around Lake Norman, head to liveworkplaylkn.com.
Your local pulse on business and community. This is Town Talk on WSIC, 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, and 1400 AM.
That's cool. That is really cool. I picked that just for you. You know that? Welcome back to Town Talk. I'm Bill Russell, your host today. I had Erin Blackburn. She is the marketing director for Dry Otter Waterproofing. Lee Blakely, he's the chair of Woodlawn School Board of Trustees. And Lucia Reynal, she is a senior with the Woodlawn class of 2026. And, you know, there's a lot of talk about preparing students for jobs that don't even exist yet, Lee. How is Woodlawn staying ahead of that curve?
So I think that's another really good question, Bill. I think that for a student coming up in the world that we're moving into, it's not so much about what you know now. It's about your ability to learn and change and evolve as the workplace changes. If you learn how to learn, then you'll always be able to find a place, a position, and that's really an emphasis at Woodlawn.
Lucia, do you feel like you're learning skills that go beyond just textbooks?
That's what I was going to say. In senior year, we do a capstone project. So I've spent the whole year researching kind of independently. And so I think that's something that is definitely good for preparing you in college.
Erin, are you ready to go back and be a teacher?
Any day.
Lee, community seems to be a big part of Woodlawn's culture. How do you see that playing out day to day?
So Woodlawn, each grade level has a service partner, and that's an organization in the community, typically a nonprofit, whether it's like Piedmont Animal Rescue. Lucia, you might even know the current service partners better than me.
We've done Feed and See in the past, so that was a big one for my grade.
Mm-hmm.
Piedmont is another big one.
And that really gives the students an opportunity to engage beyond just the school. And I can't resist saying that Woodlawn's mission is to produce independent, lifelong learners who are contributing members of a diverse global society. And that's an outward-facing statement. That's not, we have a great little community by ourselves. That's, we are part of a broader community that we both work to improve and to be a part of.
Lucia, what are some of the extracurriculars you are involved in, either on campus or off campus? What are some of these things you do?
I kind of going with the whole community aspect. I volunteered with Ada Jenkins. I don't know if
Oh
you've
yeah,
heard of
yeah.
her.
Oh, absolutely.
So-
On the board.
Oh, really? It was a great, I loved it. I was in, they started the multilingual classroom,
Uh-huh.
I think last year. So I was first with first and second grade, and then I transferred over to the multilingual classroom, and it was great. It was an amazing opportunity. I'm also with WAC, which you saw in their Woodlawn Activities
Mhm.
Committee. So that's another big aspect of the like community building in our school. We plan like prom, pep rallies, things like that. And so that's great too, because like the whole job there is like to get the whole like the school together, so all the community there. And it's great because it's Woodlawn, so it's all student led. And so like we get to kind of decide like, oh, do we want to DJ this year? Do we want like how do we want to fundraise? So that's another great thing.
I'm excited to hear you working with Ada Jenkins. So in
Yeah.
like 2001 to 2003, I was on the board of directors, and then I was rolling off to go onto the United Way board, and they said, "Can we keep you on as an ex officio member?" And this is 2003, a long time ago, and I'm still an ex officio board member.
Wow.
So I don't get to many of the meetings, but Harold, when he needs me, knows where to find me. Lee, if you had to sum it up, what kind of student does Woodlawn aim to graduate?
Woodlawn aims to graduate a student. That's really the picture of a graduate question. Woodlawn aims to graduate a student that's empowered to pursue their life in the way that they want to pursue it. I think we already said that they're lifelong learners, but they're also confident in themselves. They're willing to get out and engage with the world, to take chances. Sometimes that means failing at something, but that's part of success also, I think. So that's what a Woodlawn student looks like. I think if you look at Lucia, you'll see what a Woodlawn student might look like
Definitely.
as a great example.
She's very confident.
I think sometimes you learn more from the failures than you do from the wins, or at least I have in my life. Lucia, how has Woodlawn helped shape who you've become?
Well, I came into Woodlawn during COVID, actually. So I moved in 2020, and I joined in 7th grade. And my old school was much bigger, and I was a very quiet kid. So I would have never stood at like Bowman Hall to talk or anything like that. Like never, ever. And my like friends would make fun of me. Like I wouldn't talk outside the friend group. Like I only talked to people I knew. But Woodlawn is so small that like teachers, they try and get you to talk and participate. And so Woodlawn really grew me because now I can like speak publicly and things like that. And that's something I never would have been able to do.
You were really at ease so when you did the Bowman Hall.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And Lee, you did as well. Okay, let's switch to STEAMfest. For those who are unfamiliar with what we're talking about, what is STEAMfest and what makes it special?
So STEAMfest is an annual event held at Woodlawn School where we open up the campus. We'll have 100 plus STEM and arts activities that anybody can come and participate in. It's free admission. The activities are created by universities, libraries, teachers, businesses, all who bring these together at Woodlawn and just create an opportunity for the community.
And for the layperson out there that doesn't know what STEM is,
Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, plus art.
and where will STEAMfest 2026 take place?
Woodlawn School, which is right here in Mooresville.
What kind of activities can they expect? And I was sharing when we were off the air that 2 years ago I remember seeing the robotics, which was the first opportunity I saw that. Talk about some of the activities you guys got planned.
Yeah, so we've got an exciting year this year. There'll be a couple of robotics teams, so they'll have different kinds of robots that you can drive, that you can learn about. We've got a lot of engineering challenges this year, opportunities to try to build things, whether it's with straws or wood or steel or learn to hammer nails and run screwdrivers. We've got science and chemistry experiments. This is a big year for dinosaurs also. We've got at least 4 activities that are going to be centered around dinosaurs. No live dinosaurs.
No Jurassic Park.
Yeah, lots of fossils. They're really activities for all different ages, whether you're 3 years old or 30 like us, or whatever your age level is. There are things that you'll be fascinated with and enjoy exploring.
Lucia, what are you most excited about?
I'm excited to see how the volunteers goes this year. So I started working with the volunteers last year, and now I'm working with them this year, and that's always something exciting.
Why is it important to bring together science, technology, engineering, arts, and math into one community event?
I think that's a good question. I think sometimes there's this false mistake of saying that you're an art person or you're a science person. Well, if you look at brain scans, a person creating art, a person performing mathematical equations, they're activating the same parts of their brain. It's really just a different expression of that. So we don't want to create that division. We want to give everybody an opportunity to explore in a way that fits them.
How does STEAMfest reflect Woodlawn School's approach to hands-on project-based learning?
That's one that's going in and doing activities live with your hands in person right there. That really is the Woodlawn way.
Woodlawn is also great with integrating different grade levels. Like that's something, or not different subjects. So they try and get like a central question or a guiding theme every year. And so all of the different courses will tie together. And I think that's something STEAMfest does really well too, because they obviously want to like integrate all of these different aspects.
And there are several schools represented. Not just Woodlawn.
That's right. Pine Lake Prep, right down the road from Woodlawn School, is our partner in holding the event every year. Lake Norman Charter is a big participant also. And we always really appreciate their willingness to come together with us and make an event for the community.
As one of the founders of STEAMfest, how have you seen this event grow over the years?
I should say, first of all, I was part of the founding group. But there have been literally hundreds of people who come together to make an event like this possible. And my role has really just been to try to coordinate and let people know that this is possible. We can do this. I've seen the event grow from 2016, where it was purely Woodlawn students, and we had about 15 activity booths, to we'll have 2,000 people on campus on this Sunday. We'll have 100+ activities. There'll be 20 different universities, museums, public libraries, all represented at it. So it's grown tremendously, but we've really preserved that core theme, which is providing a free opportunity to come and experience and play and learn.
Lucia, as a student leader, what do you think makes STEAMfest so exciting for the other students and younger children?
I think it's a great opportunity to try new things so you can explore different things. I remember I visited once as just a participant, and I saw the rockets, and I thought those were so cool. They had a cool big one, and then they had the little ones with the tablets that pop. And so I think just the opportunity to see different things, try new things maybe you've never seen before. I think that's really exciting.
What was your first science project that you were involved in as a student?
Oh, goodness. That was a long time ago, Bill. So I remember in my earlier science classes, making sort of dioramas was a big activity, it seemed like, and building a diorama of dinosaurs was something that I really got into. I can't say how accurate my dioramas were.
All right, well, we're going to go to a break, and we're going to be right back, and we're talking STEAMfest and Dry Otter. Don't go anywhere.
She blinded me with science. She blinded me.
Lake Norman Chamber President Bill Russell brings you the voices shaping Lake Norman. Stay tuned for more Town Talk on WSIC. Local starts here.
Let's see, you brought up COVID, and you were probably, in junior high school when COVID hit? Was you
7th grade.
7th grade, okay.
Yep.
Lee, one of the things that has concerned me is, when we were 13, 14, 15, 16, that was really when we started building our social skills. That's when you asked people out on dates. That's when you went to the movies. That's when you really created the group interaction. And your generation, you couldn't even go out of your house. You couldn't even stand on the beach by yourself without even getting arrested on the beach. And churches, we shut down churches. We didn't allow any activity. And I've been really concerned about the social skills that, some of those students didn't even get to go to their graduations. They didn't get to go on any type of dances and things of that nature. How have you seen that impact students your age?
I think students my age mostly like haven't been as affected. I think what I've seen, at least through Ada Jenkins and things like that, is like the youngest generation was very affected because many kids would stay home and watch TV instead of like kindergarten or things like that because you couldn't go. So I know there's been a big thing with like speech impediments. I think that's definitely something. I think my generation, at least, like COVID helped me honestly because I moved and it was great. But it was sad because when I was leaving, I was going to do like a whole goodbye thing, but because of COVID, most of my friends, I didn't get to see them again.
Were you teaching at the time?
I was working at Catawba Science Center, and I knew I'm the first one that's not going to be working at work. They're never going to let children come on a field trip during this, and for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't work like 2 more days.
I think we're going to continue to see that play out in our business world for quite a while.
I did have my little boy. He was born during 2020, and so he'll one day have to be explained about the pandemic of the year he was born.
2020, so he's 5 or 6 now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mentioned before we went on air about our Artificial Intelligence Summit that we just had at the Chamber of Commerce a couple of months ago. It was fascinating. This was the second year that we had an AI summit. Last year was kind of an introduction to AI. This year it was kind of how is AI going to impact your business. I got a question. What type of artificial AIs do you use? Do you use ChatGPT, Claude? Do you use it at all?
Sometimes I'll use ChatGPT, but mainly for like brainstorming, if anything. I've just kind of tried to stay away from it because I feel like once you start, like if something can do it for you, like it's hard to kind of go back and do it yourself. But I do think it's helpful for like coming up with ideas. And sometimes like finding research, like websites that you need or papers that can be hard to find. I think it can be helpful for that too.
You know, Lee, we had our high school reunion a few years ago. It was our 45th, and we went into what was the library. And one of the first things I did was say, where are the books? I mean, there literally were no books in the library, and there was no encyclopedias. It was really a data center that was at the library, so it's quite different. What AI do you use?
I use ChatGPT every day, and because you know my story of being a science educator, but now I'm a marketing director and a CRM administrator. I use it every day to teach me how to do my job because I don't know. You know, I have to teach myself how to do my job. It's completely new, but sometimes it's wrong, and I figure that out quickly. But I couldn't do my job pretty much. Build our computer system at Dry Otter. I use ChatGPT and it tells me exactly what to do and code and all kind of stuff.
All right, we're going to go live in about 10 seconds. Thank you for staying with us, and we're going to talk a little bit more STEAMfest.
Starts here.
Lake Norman's movers, shakers, and difference makers. This is Town Talk with Bill Russell on WSIC. Local starts here.
I like that. That's cool. Welcome back to Town Talk. I have Erin Blackburn. She's the marketing director of Dry Otter Waterproofing. Lee Blakely, he is the chair of Woodlawn School Board of Trustees. Lucia Reynal, she is a senior with Woodlawn School Class of 2026. And what role do some of the students play in shaping Woodlawn's experience in events like STEAMfest? You talked about that earlier, but what other things are they involved in?
Well, there's volunteer coordinator. That's kind of my part of it. And there's many of us that are doing that this year. There's also a group that's in charge of refreshments for all of the volunteers and activity booths that are there. So that's another big thing we do. Woodlawn is also in charge of the concession stand. So we're trying to do some fundraising for prom. And I think there's a group last year that was in charge of the music, like the sound. And there's also students that will be taking pictures and things like that. And obviously many students will just volunteer in general, which is obviously very important to run the event.
Lee, where can people who have been listening to us go register or find out more information on STEAMfest?
Absolutely. So you want to go to wsteamfest.org, and you can register there. It takes just a minute, and you'll have your spot reserved, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Lucia, we were talking just a little while ago about Bowman Hall, and you got up there and talked about it. What will this new facility represent for the future of Woodlawn?
I think it's amazing. The thing that stood out to me was the innovation labs. They're going to have a bunch of lab space for students, and it's going to be open for all grades, which I think is amazing because Woodlawn is great community-wise, and so like they always say like you learn more when you teach. So I think like any older student I know, especially at Woodlawn, that sees like a younger one, they'd be more than willing to help, and that's like the best way to learn.
Lee, how will Bowman Hall enhance the student experience, especially with programs like STEAM, the arts, or collaborative learning?
So Bowman Hall is really going to do two things. It's going to allow us to expand the enrollment at Woodlawn, provide space for more students, more activities. But then Lucia mentioned the innovation labs. That's really an area that's going to allow us to take project-based learning a step further. So it'll provide the resources and the facilities to do things that we really couldn't before.
You know, groundbreakings are more than just building new buildings. They're about investing in people. What impact do you hope Bowman Hall will have on the future of students 5 or 10 years from now?
I think I'd like to see Bowman Hall really provide a place where the students can explore things that they would not have otherwise had an opportunity to. Mm-hmm. You know, I'd like them to be able to go into the innovation lab, and you know, who knows what technology is going to be 10 years from now. But you know, maybe it's a 4D printer that they get to experience for the first time. Great, I want them to have that opportunity. I tend to look at the innovation labs as STEAMfest in miniature.
Lucia, how does it make you feel with a school that is growing and investing in its future?
I think it's great because Woodlawn obviously has grown a lot since when it started, and I love it there. I think it's a great school, and so I think the fact that they're being able to offer more opportunities for like more development, more research, more students, I think it's great.
Mm-hmm. Erin, we want to segue back in a little bit about Dry Otter because again, what you do is fascinating as well, and Lee and I were talking about it. For those who might not think about it, why is taking care of your crawl space so important to the overall health of your home or business?
A lot of people don't really think about it at all. It's someplace you don't even look at. Mm-hmm. But if you think about how we're here in the South and it's humid and muggy.
Oh, it is humid.
And we've got the clay ground. So then we put these beautiful $1 million homes sitting on top of that ground and put a little bit of plastic down and live our life. Well, that ground is holding water and it evaporates. And normally it just evaporates, makes clouds. But when you put a house there, it's just evaporating up into the bottom of your home, which moisture is never good. It allows mold to grow.
Right.
So,
why do you think so many homeowners overlook moisture and humidity problems in their crawl space until it becomes a much bigger problem?
It's just kind of one of those things you feel like you can get away with because you don't really want to spend all that money under there. You think there might be a problem. You maybe smell a little musty smell, but out of sight, out of mind. I can sleep at night and not really worry about it. But I think they should take care of it because I've seen what can happen when you don't.
What are some of those early warning signs that somebody might have a moisture or a waterproofing issue?
The main thing is a musty smell in your house.
Yeah.
Some people, maybe grandkids come, they say it smells like grandma's house. Maybe that means she's cooking something good. Maybe that means she's got a musty crawl space, But also, like, if you ever get mildew on your shoes in the bottom of your closet, you need to have your crawl space checked for sure. Other things like little separations between the floor and the baseboards, wavy floors, cracks here and there where they don't belong. There's a lot of subtle indications that you have a crawl space problem.
Talk about those. You just brought it up. So talk about those health issue concerns and how that could impact your family.
Yeah, so we're here, talking about a lot of science. And there is this scientific phenomenon that actually makes it become a health problem. But if you think about your house kind of like a chimney, they call it the stack effect. Stack being an old-timey word for a chimney. Whenever the air goes out the top in the eaves or the windows, places like that, there can't just be no more air in there. So air has to replace it. So it's going to come from underneath the home and the tiny cracks in the floor. So if you have that, damp area that has allowed mold to grow, and then that air is coming into your house, then that mold is coming into your house. So I've heard of people who go visit so-and-so's house and they have an asthma attack every time they visit or an allergy attack. And if you just kind of feel sick all the time and you can't really figure out why, there's another good indication you might want to get your crawl space checked.
Now, Lee, can't you understand now how a science teacher can segue into a marketing career for a waterproofing company?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Walk us through at a very high level how waterproofing a crawl space actually works.
So the best thing to do is just get a professional to actually look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So our company, we provide free inspections. So you just call us, set up a free inspection, and then one of our experts comes and actually gets in there. They do the thing that no one else wants to do and get down on their knees and hands and, go where the snakes are and spiders and actually check it out. And then they'll give an assessment and talk over with you for the best plan that fits your point in your life and your budget and your home, because they're all very variable factors there. And then we'll fix it. And usually there's a couple different ways we can fix it. We can put drains, French drains. Everybody thinks French drains outside. Well, you can put French drains under a home all day too. That'll take the water out. Then we can put down some plastic. There's a premium solution called an encapsulation, but then we can also do mold remediation, replace your insulation, put a sump pump, dehumidifier, and we do foundation repair too. So if you've let it go too long and the floor has started to rot, we can change your subfloor, put new joists, put jacks in there, get it back up stable where it needs to. And one other thing we can do is put these supports underneath the base of the foundation that go deep into the ground to a deeper soil layer, which is some more science, horizons and everything. So where it's more stable down there and just kind of stabilize it and make it more durable.
Lee, do you have a basement or a crawl space?
I do, but my basement's also my office. So
okay.
I'm hoping that there's no mold in there right now.
Yeah.
But I was impressed hearing you talk about this, that it's a lot more complicated than just going down to Lowe's, getting a roll of plastic and spreading it out.
Yeah.
So if I'm a homeowner, I suspect that this is something that I really should talk to somebody about.
Yep. And I didn't say it clearly, but we do basement waterproofing too. And it's a similar solution. It's just, between the concrete block and
all right, you threw out a term a while ago. You said encapsulation.
Yeah.
I heard that. Vapor barriers, dehumidifiers. What do those mean in plain English? We got about a minute.
So an encapsulation is really one, you don't just put plastic on the floor. You put plastic on the floor, the walls, and the columns. And then, and also I didn't mention, you close the vents that everybody wonders about. What am I supposed to do with the vents? Then you put a commercial dehumidifier in there. And then there you have a lifelong solution that's always going to keep that moisture from coming in, haunting you for the rest of your life.
Okay, so we got a segment today on science. We're talking about science. We're talking about STEAMfest. We're talking about keeping your crawl space safe. We're talking about health. So a lot of different subjects we got going on. So we're going to go to a break. We're going to hear from our sponsors. We're going to come right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about STEAMfest and Dry Otter. Don't go anywhere.
She blinded me with science. She blinded me.
Connecting businesses, nonprofits, and the community. Stay tuned for more Town Talk with Bill Russell on WSIC. Local starts here.
Okay, we're back. One more Chamber of Commerce activity I want to talk about. We've got a blood drive, speaking of health. So we partner, Lee, with the WSIC and Rose Pharmacy, and on Wednesday, April 29th, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, we're going to have a blood drive at the Lake Norman Chamber of Commerce. So if you give blood, consider coming down to the Chamber of Commerce. I think you mentioned that you do give blood.
I do give blood. I try to do it twice a year, once at Woodlawn's annual blood drive event. I'm in a competition there for who can fill the bag fastest.
Oh!
Yeah. And I try to get at least one more donation each year somewhere else.
I hear you. Okay. What's the worst crawl space that your team has ever seen without naming any names?
I would never name names, but they're just sometimes, the piers sometimes are just, all the piers underneath the home are crooked. And you're like, this place is not safe to walk on the first floor. But there's also a lot of crawl spaces that have really creepy things like mice skeletons and snake skins. And that means there's real, live snakes probably somewhere. Possums, there's funny stories back at the office of possums, growling at them to keep out.
Erin, I think people would be shocked if they crawled under their crawl space. And again, my house is a crawl space, and it is not very high. And the guys went under there and did some work, and they told me your insulation is coming down. I was thinking, well, why didn't you just push it back up when you were under there? So I got home from work one night. It was 8 o'clock, and it doesn't really matter if it's light out or dark out if you're under your house, right? Mm-hmm. So I had my little head flashlight and went up under there, and I've got insulation, and I'm pushing back up, and I'm under the house. And again, there's not probably more than 1.5 feet, 2 feet, really. And I heard something run by my head. I don't know what it was, whether it was a cat or a rat or what it was. But I moved out pretty quickly from under that house.
And you have to be careful because if you get too startled, you might bump your head on the floor joists.
And also there are nails coming out from those floor joists. So
Yeah. Sometimes our crew members, they bump their heads and have to get it checked out.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to go live in about 10 seconds. So thank you for staying with us on Town Talk.
Legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Your local pulse on business and community. This is Town Talk on WSIC, 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, and 1400 AM.
To Town Talk. I'm your host, Bill Russell. Lucia Reynal. She is a senior with Woodlawn School Class of 2026. Lee Blakely, Chair of Woodlawn School's Board of Trustees and a STEAMfest founder. And Erin Blackburn. She is with Otter, and we were talking about our crawl space. Does crawl space care have any impact on energy efficiency or indoor air quality, both inside the home and outside the home?
It definitely has a big impact on both. There haven't been a huge amount of studies, but there have been a few, and we've seen the reports that, you need to keep the mold at bay so that the air quality is good. And it can, you mentioned earlier in the break that you had a problem with your insulation falling down. That's because it had gotten wet.
Yeah.
So the moisture took away your energy efficiency until you fixed it. So, and a lot of times that insulation gets so wet that you can't even put it back up. It's moldy and just not really insulation anymore. So an encapsulation can definitely keep that moisture away so your insulation can stay. And we even do another solution that can encapsulate. The encapsulation is not doesn't require that pink insulation under the floorboards. You can put a different kind of insulation on the walls, a 2-inch thick foam board, and that way you're encapsulating and like the building envelope, insulating the building envelope. So when you have your air handler in there, it does not even have to work as hard because you're going ahead and keeping that whole space conditioned.
Erin, is this something that if you've got an older home, you don't really you need to worry about it, but if you've got a newer home, you don't need to worry about it? Does it matter?
There are brand new homes that have mold under, and it comes from that construction process where it sits with water. And so it doesn't matter if you have a new home or an old home. You would do very well to look at it. And especially if you're thinking about selling your home, don't wait until your due diligence.
For business owners listening, are the risk and solutions similar for commercial properties?
the commercial properties usually tend to be on slabs. So if you have the type of neighborhood where you have businesses in residential, really, structures, then you need a commercial building in that sense needs to take care of it. But slabs have a whole different ballpark of issues.
Leah, it sounds like what's happening under the house might be more important than what's happening in your living room.
I could believe that.
Okay, switching gears, you've established a very successful business, Reliable Penguin. How has your entrepreneurial journey influenced your passion for education and programs like STEAMfest at Woodlawn School?
So, Bill, when I first visited Woodlawn School for my looking for a school for my daughter, I met the founder, I met some of the students, and I realized that their approach represented or was creating the same type of people that I worked with in the technology world every day, where I might be in the morning on a call with people on 3 different continents.
And you design websites, right?
I build the infrastructure that powers the websites.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm a network engineer, and that's what our business creates is large scale managed hosting solutions. We work in project teams. We're cross functional. We're diverse. And we're spread around the world, and that kind of environment, I saw that at Woodlawn as a way to teach children to work in the way that the future would require of them. So that inspired me to get involved with Woodlawn. By first of all putting my daughter into the school. She was there for 12 years. She's now a junior at Wake Forest on a pre-med track. You can probably tell I'm just a little proud of what she's accomplished. But then as we were, as she was working her way through Woodlawn, we just kept seeing opportunities where, I myself or one of the other parents who were in a technology arena, we had some robotics parts or we had an extra computer. So we'd bring it over to the school in the afternoon and do a little activity with the kids. It was fun for us, and the kids benefited, and slowly over the course of a number of years that developed into an actual formal program.
When you were in high school, was there a program like STEAMfest or some type of activity in your high school that got you involved?
There was not. It was that was quite a few years ago. So there were not many computers, and I think the inspiring things in science and technology at the time were really things like the space program, watching the shuttle launches. That was always amazing when I was in junior high school, and inspirational.
Erin, you're a Lincoln County grad, so when you were a student in high school, was there a program like this that got you involved in science?
We had a few, like the astronomy club and the envirothon, and I was definitely participated in those. But the word STEM hadn't quite come along yet. But just right before then is when I was in high school. So it was a little bit more piecemeal.
You have a board of trustees, and you said that I think 13?
We do. We have 13 members on our board currently.
And are you inviting more people to come and get involved?
We're always developing our board to make sure that we've got the right combination of people to lead the school into the future. And that's one of our challenges as a board.
How important is it for students to get exposure to real-world business concepts early? And how can those experiences like STEAMfest, you think, help spark that interest?
Well, that's a great question. If you're a graduate coming out of high school or a graduate coming out of college, and you really have had no exposure to how the business world works, then you're starting at a deficit to all the people who have had that experience. Would y'all like to comment on that? Because I think that's really...
It's definitely true for me because I mentioned wanting to be a Secretary of Interior. I was on this one track mind. And I'm working in a small business now as, a manager, and I've had to learn it all from the owner.
You really exemplify a lifelong learner, which is the person who can, take a challenge, learn, and then when the time to take up another challenge comes, they can shift gears and go with that.
And my school emphasized lifelong learning. That was our motto, and we memorized that growing up. So it's definitely become a motto of mine. And I'm excited to see all that you continue to learn in your life, because coming from 7th grade, shy, and then just look at her, she's just blossoming. And to be so confident and really intelligent. And I'm excited to see what you do with your career one day.
Erin, I have a question for you and Lee. Looking at it ahead, what advice would you give to a young person like Lucia who may want to start their own business one day, and what should they be focusing on right now?
I would say to start a business, you don't have to make a website, and you don't have to come up with an LLC or any of those things that we all feel like we have to do to start doing it. If you want to have a business, start making money doing the thing you're doing, and just do it.
Lee?
I think that's great advice. The biggest challenge, we've all sat around and said, oh, that's a great idea. I could start a business with that, and then we don't do it. Yep. It really comes down to making that choice. I'm going to do it, and then do it. And you may not have an MBA, but there are lots of people out there who can give you advice and guidance and help get you started. You may not have a lot of money, but there are a lot of people with money who would like to invest in you. So I think make that choice. Choose something you're passionate about. Call the chamber. They can introduce you to people.
Yeah.
And do you see a future where students coming out of programs like Woodlawn could jump right into companies like yours or yours?
Yeah. Anybody can do anything they put their mind to. It just might be more challenging from coming from different areas, but I think you can do anything.
Lee, Reese is going to tell me in about a minute that we got 1 minute to wrap up. Again, encapsulate it for me. STEAMfest is taking place when, where, what time? Share that.
Sunday, April 12th, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. at Woodlawn School in Mooresville. You can go to wsteamfest.org to register. The registration is free. There are 100+ STEM and arts activities. There'll be food trucks. It's going to be a great afternoon. The weather is going to be beautiful. So I'd encourage everybody to come and check it out.
And is there a website they can go to?
wsteamfest.org.
And how many people are we expecting?
I hope we'll have at least 2,000 this year.
Maybe 2002, because I'm
Two more.
definitely going to bring
Thank
my
you.
little boy. He loves science, so he'll love that.
And how many students did you think you'll have there?
Students, young people,
Yeah.
The vast majority of them will be students. We may have 2 parents, but they'll bring their 2 kids and they'll bring their neighbors' kids, and we'll be 75% youth and a lot of adults.
And Lucia, why should a young person come to STEAMfest?
I think it's an amazing opportunity, again, to explore new things, and you can really find something that you've never seen before.
30 seconds. How would somebody get a hold of you if they got a waterproofing issue?
So to schedule a free inspection, they can go to www.dryotterwaterproofing.com. It's really a mouthful, or call 704-966-1771. And you'll be speaking to somebody who's sitting right there in Denver, not someone far away.
Well, thank you, all 3 of you, for sharing today. If it's Wednesday afternoon, we're talking about our towns on Town Talk on WSIC. We'll see you next week.
Great radio doesn't end here. Catch the full episode and dive into our archives on the WSIC News app.
WSIC 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, and 1400 AM. Statesville, Lake Norman's home for talk radio. WSIC, local